Maimuna, you're welcome.
Malorindo.
Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum
Waalaikum
salam.
salam.
Okay, you are welcome,
Hmm.
Maimuna. What kept you behind schedule? What kept you behind schedule? Why did you come late?
Network.
Hmm?
Network.
Network.
Network. MTN network is down.
Oh, try not to come late next as in tomorrow. Allow me make it easy.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Um,
Okay, now I am Adishola Mutsiu, and I am the gifted researcher. I understand, as in, who has not met me before? As in, Maimuna, have you attended any of my webinars in the past? Have you?
yes.
Okay,
I attended one of the free classes now.
really? Alhamdulillah.
Yes,
Alhamdulillah.
last week. No.
So I want to believe that we are connected already. We are connected. But just for a reminder, I am a research coach. This is what I do, and I have staged the Write Your Project with His, the Write Your Project with His, the Bring It On edition. And in this particular edition, I'm hoping that I'm going to help you overcome your research problems, research frustrations, so that at the end you are, inshallah, going to be able to attain confidence. I understand that many of the students do not have confidence with respect to writing their final year project. I also want to be able to give you clarity. I want to give you direction with respect to that. So, what do I need from you? What do I ask from you? I want your cooperation. And the cooperation, you see, this night, I had every reason to have shifted the class because I've been quite busy all the day and I'm tired. I have to tell you, I feel tired. But because I know that I owe you that transformation, I decided to make it here. So always make sure that you make it here. Make it here. As in the least of the time that you can make it here. Latest is 9:40. 9:40. So don't let me tell you that after 9:40 I want to kick you out of the class. That's what I actually do in real life. When I in my classes I tell students if you're 10 minutes late, then you are not going to attend my class anymore. I also want you to get a jotter, get a book, get a pen. Always make sure that you jot every vital aspect of what I'm going to teach you. Jot it down. In addition, I want you to also know that there is no gain in acquiring knowledge without implementing it. As soon as I'm teaching you, please try them out. Try them out. They might appear difficult at the beginning. I can tell you that nothing good seems easy, especially at the beginning. And even knowledge itself, knowledge at the beginning, like one of the scholars had said, it says, "Murrun mudhaqatuhu," that you want to attain knowledge is something, it's a bitter experience. لكن آخره أحلى من العسل. But at the end, it's going to taste, uh, how do I put it? It will taste sweeter than honey. Imagine that. So please, this is the only way that you can take full benefit, full benefit from this class. I can only ask Allah subhanahu to make you benefit as much as I wish for you. So let's start. Who do we start with? Rahman Rauf Yudukun came into the class first tonight. So, what is your first pinpoint? Bring it on. Are you ready?
Ready, sir.
Yeah.
I'm ready, sir.
Go ahead. Yeah. I'm
As
talking
we
to
bring
you.
it on.
Yes. Bring on what are the project pinpoints? Bring them on. Bring the first one on.
Yes, sir. Like I've said earlier, I have attended some of your webinar. Not only that, I've been into research for some years back now. So I have this important area where I want us to start with. In the literature review, that is usually chapter 2. Like what I have in the one you sent to us, project proposal support kit. Please don't mind my background. I have to be outside because of the network. Are you with me, sir?
Yes, I'm with you. Go ahead. I'm
Yes.
listening.
So from the project proposal support kit, where we talk about the conceptual review, the empirical review, and the theoretical review. Sir, I want us to have a deeper knowledge about how do we do conceptual review, how do we do empirical review, how do we do theoretical review, so that we can bind it together and have a solid literature review at the end of the day. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much for that. So, the literature review, many students find it challenging. I'm aware of that. I also found it challenging. It was challenging for me. One, because it's often the bulkiest, it takes the largest part of your project. That's one of the reasons. The second reason why many students find it challenging is the fact that they do not have sufficient materials to be able to write a bulky literature review. And in addition, many of the students have challenges with citations. I mean, in-text citations and references. How are they going to refer to their sources of the information? How do they make reference to that in the body of the literature review and at the end? These are the challenges that students face. Do you agree with this, my submission? Agbala Rashid,
Yes, I do.
thank you very much. Maimuna, do
That's
you
the
agree
area
as
I'm
well?
having problem too.
Maimuna, Maimuna, oh, are you
It is,
there?
sir.
It is true.
I'm with you.
Okay. Mo bere, I asked a question. Did you hear me at
Sir,
all?
what's the question, sir?
Oh,
No, no, no.
but you
No,
said
sir.
you have been with me now. You told me you were with me. Are you sleeping? Have you been sleeping?
No, no, I'm not sleeping. No, I'm not sleeping. I'm listening.
Okay. Now let's look at the literature review. The literature review is
Okay,
usually chapter two. Chapter two. And
okay.
you may mute your mic now, Maimuna. Mute your mic. Just listen and take jottings. Listen and take jottings. There are two sources of materials for your literature review. There are two sources of materials for your literature review. The first source is the primary source. The primary source. And the second source is the secondary source. The primary source are the direct sources where you go directly, you are in direct contact with the propounders of the knowledge, with the custodians of the information. There's no intermediary between you. Imagine that you are carrying out a research or you are reviewing a particular book written by Professor Wole Soyinka, for example, and you went to him. If you went to Professor Wole Soyinka and you were asking him question in person concerning his book, so he will be telling you directly from his mouth. That is a primary source of literature. It is possible. But okay, Professor, what do you mean by this word? What do you mean here? What do you mean here? What do you mean that? You understand? That's a primary source. The primary source. And the secondary source are the reported sources. The reported sources. The reported sources. And in the reported sources, you are not meeting the custodians of the knowledge directly. Rather, you are making reference to what materials they have produced. So you are not directly relating with them. However, the literature review serves the following purpose. When you collect data, when you review your research, considering the primary sources, considering the secondary sources, what do you intend to achieve? Number one is that you want to bring reality to your project. That is, you are telling us that yes, this that you are doing has been done before, it is real, and that it is feasible, it is possible. Because it had been done before, you are not the first person doing it. And so you are bringing the opinions of other persons in to come to bear. So it gives credibility to your project. It gives you credibility. Citing sources, primary or secondary, it gives credibility to your study. And that is why it's important that it should be done right. So, the literature review, now, these are the following points that you should note about literature review. The literature review allows you, in addition, to recognize the gaps. It allows you to cover areas that other persons did not cover. Yes, you are looking at what they have done. You are also going to look at what they were not able to do. And you now position yourself in between what they have done and what they were not able to do. So you bridge that gap between what others have done and what they were not able to do. Am I communicating? Let me type that. The literature review helps bridge the gap between
Share your screen, please.
okay. No, I will type it, I will send it. Just I'm still in the message. When I have to share, I'll let you know.
All right.
Okay. It helps
All right. No
to
problem.
bridge
Sir.
the
No.
gap between what was done. The literature review helps to bridge the gap. It places you between what people have been able to do in that particular research area of concern to you. So you now stand in between, bridging the gap between what they have done and what they were not able to do. So that is when you're able to situate yourself. You situate yourself, you situate your research among what those ones have done. It also allows you to be able to add to the already existing body of knowledge. The already existing body of knowledge. I hope I'm communicating. Are we together? Are we together?
Sir, the network is not good. The network is breaking. I can't hear you clearly.
Network on my side.
Yes, it's breaking. I can't hear you properly.
Raman Rose, can you hear me?
I can hear you, sir. I can hear you
Agbala Rashid, are you
perfectly.
there? Agbala Rashid, are you there?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. So Maimuna, can you hear me now?
Yes, yes, yes. I can hear you now.
Okay. So what have you learned so far?
The importance of literature review, the function.
Okay. What does it do?
It helps to bridge the gap between what other people done and what we want to do. And
And what they were not able to do. Abby?
what they never do. Yes, yes. So
Okay.
what you intend doing, Abby? So you fill that gap.
Mm-mm. It's not what you intend to do. You stand at a bridge between what others did and what they were not able to do. That is what you are doing in your literature review. Literature review is done under three headings. Usually, it may vary. You might have it varying in some aspects. Depending on the discipline, it might vary. But usually, like in the tertiary institutions in Nigeria, I understand that it usually comes under three headings or maybe two in some cases. And the first is that you do a conceptual review, a conceptual review, a conceptual review. You can also do a theoretical review. And lastly, you do the empirical review. Use now. How many? Hello, are you there?
Uh,
Eh?
Three review the conceptual, theoretical, and empirical.
Okay. So the literature review can be done under three headings. Under three headings. The first one is the conceptual review. That's the first one. And the second is the theoretical review. And the last is the empirical review. Now, I want somebody to come up with a topic. Do you have any topic on your mind that you think we can use to demonstrate this?
Come up with my. Hello, sir.
I have a topic, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead. Say it.
Okay. Assessment for the suitability of basic science.
Adjustment.
No, assessment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Assessment. I'm listening. Are you there?
If you can type it, sir,
Okay,
you
yes.
can.
You may type it. Can you all see my screen? Hello, can you see my screen?
Yes, you can see the screen.
Yes, sir. I can see it.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
okay. Rashid, please read it. Rashid, read what you see on the screen.
Assessment of the suitability of basic science as a prerequisite for chemistry in secondary school.
Okay. Now, by this topic, by this topic, this researcher is concerned with how basic science is a subject. How suitable is basic science as a prerequisite for chemistry in secondary school? That is, usually in Nigeria, when you JSS 1, JSS 2, JSS 3, the junior secondary classes, you take basic science. Now, is it enough that a child are taking basic science at the junior secondary school level as a prerequisite for such a child to take chemistry when he gets to maybe the senior secondary school? So if you look at this topic, this is a topic. How do you now do the conceptual review of these topics? Look at me as I emphasize some of those concepts, conceptual review. Conceptual review. So you are going to be looking at concepts. You are going to be reviewing concepts. Reviewing concepts. And the first one, and the most prominent among them, is going to be basic science. Basic science. Now, if you're looking at basic science, that means you'll be telling us, for instance, you may have to speak about the basic science curriculum for junior secondary school. First, you tell us about what basic science is. It may come as a heading. Basic science as a subject in the secondary school. That will come as a heading. The conceptual review is done under headings. The literature review is done under three headings, three major headings: conceptual, empirical, and theoretical. So when you start with the conceptual, you give it a heading like this. Let me show you. Let's say conceptual review 2.0. 2.0. Conceptual review. So under this conceptual review, that is when you are going to be looking at maybe 2.1, depending on which method of numbering that you intend to use. So your 2.1 under, or let's say we may even call this one 2.1.1, depending, the numbers you want to use might. So you may call the next one 2.2.1, for instance. And you look at basic science. Basic science as a subject. Basic science as a subject in the secondary school. So this is how you go about the headings. So after you have got this heading, you may now go. If you're telling us blah blah blah, what is basic science? What is basic science? You'll be bringing views of authors according to, in addition to, but you should also make sure that as you are telling us about basic science, whatever you are telling us follows a logical order. And make sure that you do not keep repeating the same words again and again. You might need links like Furthermore, in addition, although, meanwhile, according to the authors, you understand, these are what you'll be saying under the basic science. You may even come under this talking about the basic science curriculum, the basic science curriculum for the junior secondary school. So you tell us about what the basic science curriculum entails. From my own understanding, basic science replaces the integrated science that we did. We did integrated science, but now they now say, okay, it is no more integrated. Let's call it basic science. So the integrated science that combines physics, the knowledge of physics, chemistry, and biology. So from there, you are going to be directing your review towards looking at basic science. You know, the curriculum would be showing us by your explanation that yes, basic science is a prerequisite or not. Am I communicating at all? Am I making any sense at all?
Yes, you are making sense.
Maimuna, are you as
Yeah.
well? Okay, Mamina is saying she also said yes. So those are, so when you move from that, you have done basic science, for example, you may also want to go to, you may want to look at chemistry now, chemistry. And while you are looking at chemistry as a concept, you now want to relate it. When you are discussing it, make sure that whatever you are discussing is being related to suitability as a prerequisite. So you have to tell us about the chemistry curriculum and then relate it with tell us how it is related to the science curriculum. So you're actually assessing the suitability of basic science as a prerequisite for chemistry. Am I making sense at all? You may also want to make a distinction between the junior secondary school curriculum and the senior secondary school curriculum. You know, usually in Nigeria, here, we usually have about 3 classes for the senior secondary school, for instance. Where you have science students, you have commercial students, you have art students. So you want to link these together vis-a-vis assessing the suitability of basic science as a prerequisite for chemistry. So that's basically what you are going to be doing. That's basically what you are going to be doing. So any other topic follows the same trend, follows in this pattern. It follows just like that. If you're looking at any topic, let somebody else give us a topic. Agbola Rashid, what's your topic? Type it. Are you typing it? Are you typing it?
Yes, I'm typing it.
Okay.
I've typed it.
Okay. Influence of teachers' quality. Let me copy it. Now, who is going to help us to do a, a painting of the conceptual review? What the conceptual review for this topic is going to look like? Let me read it out to you first. It says influence of teachers' quality on students' performance in biology in secondary school in Oyo State. Hey, why in Rashid, are you there? Why do you have in makes makes the topic want to look awkward somehow? Is this how your supervisor gave it to you?
Yes, sir.
This is how he gave it to you, or she, I mean.
Yes.
This is what your supervisor approved.
Actually, that's what he approved for me.
Okay,
So he was even the one that did the modification.
okay. In biology, in secondary school in Oyo State.
Yes, sir.
Isn't Oyo State too big for you? Are you doing a
Uh,
master's research or what?
uh, Actually, I narrowed it down to my local government, Ido local government.
I thought so. So in Ido local government, in
Local
Ido local
government.
government, so in Ido local government area.
Yes, sir.
So Maimuna, Maimuna, are you there? Or is Maimuna there? Or where is she? Okay, I want you to tell us what concept would make it to the conceptual review. Try make an attempt to describe how a conceptual review for this topic is going to look like. Influence of teachers' quality on students' performance in biology in secondary school in Ido local government. Sincerely, hin. I don't know, it is sounding somehow to me. I don't know if you are feeling like I am feeling, I don't know. Who else is feeling that
Actually,
way?
I felt the same way too
Hmm.
when it was given to me, but I didn't know how to modify it better than that because I don't know what to replace with those prepositions in biology in secondary school in Oyo State.
Okay. Among secondary school, influence of teachers' quality in students' performance in biology. Among secondary schools in Ido local government. Among secondary
Oh,
schools
okay. Among secondary school
among
in
secondary schools. Hmm?
okay. I will
Among
put it down
secondary
now.
schools in Ido local government.
Okay, that
Do you
sounds
get
better.
it?
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
if he approves this, fine. But if he insists, please don't try to argue anyway.
Yes, sir.
If
I
he
have.
approves,
I have.
okay, go ahead. I'm listening.
Like the name of this webinar implies, bring it on.
Yes.
Why bringing the topic on now? I'm being sincerely. That's my comment.
Okay.
Are you getting what I'm saying now?
What's your
That
point?
when you did as this modification now, it has even opened my eyes to something else now. Like when we have repeated of a preposition like now. So
Mm,
when we change that one to among now, I see that this is looking better, it's sounding better than the way it is before. So thank you,
mhm.
Mr.
Even
Abdullah.
to the ears, it sounds better and more
That's what.
palatable. I don't know if you're feeling the same thing I'm feeling. Did you feel the same way I felt?
Feeling the same way you are feeling now. Sincerely. Thank you, Dr. Adeshala.
You're welcome. Welcome. Thank you very much. So, what are the concepts that will make it to the as in the conceptual review? What are the concepts? I think I asked Maimuna, but she has not answered yet. She has not answered. What are the concepts that will make it to the literature review? And precisely under the conceptual review, what are those concepts?
Teachers'
Engagement.
quality,
Okay. Teachers'
teachers'
quality. Yes,
quality,
yes. Teachers'
and
quality. And when you're talking about teachers' quality, you'll be speaking about it, relating it to the aim of the project. Teachers'
okay,
quality. Okay. Students' performance. Yes. Students' performance. What
and
else?
biology as a subject,
The
biology
concept
of
of
biology.
biology. Mhm. So that you got it right. So you may come up with as much as you want to as you can. So far, they are related to the aim of the study. You're welcome. They are going to be welcome, I believe. So you'll be treating them under different headings, explaining them, citing authors, making sure that you make use of paragraphs when you are moving to a different theme. When you're moving to you usually you start with a general theme. You start generally, and as you move towards the middle, you narrow down. You narrow down. So you start generally, and you going towards specific. That is the way it is done. That's the way it's done. So that you'll be able to eventually nail it. You're going to nail it at once. Nail it right away. So I'm hoping that the conceptual review is clear to you now. I hope you have a better understanding of what it means.
Yes, sir.
So do you find the explanation useful for your project? Are you already envisioning he's in writing your literature review? Ah, somebody is asking, is there no class tonight? I don't know. I think Pojo Khalilat. Where is she? Oh? Ah, I added her to the group. I thought I did. Oh, she's not there. Oh. Sorry about that. But I sent even a please. I'm sorry. Oh, hmm, let me add her. All right. There is a question. Are you there? Okay. Yes, literature review is looking more easier than before. Literature review is looking easier than before. I would appreciate that you sent that to my DM, Raman Rauf. I like that this review. So I want to say it loud. Let the world see it. Perhaps it can change their minds and they can eventually embrace the write your project with ease. Okay, Maimuna is asking a question. She asked, when writing the conceptual review, are we to state other people's view, like Adepoju 2001? Welcome, Khalilat. I just mentioned your name. I just mentioned your name. Let me show you. It was as if Maimuna knew you were coming. This was Maimuna's message. Can you see it? Do you see anything there connected to you? Adepoju Khalilat, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, sir. Good evening, sir.
Okay. This is, do you see my message? I dropped a message now. That question was asked by Maimuna, and I was like, was she aware that you were going to join us soon?
Probably. Maybe she knows.
Okay. I'm very sorry. I thought I had added you to the group anyway. I'm very sorry about that. We had started since 9:30 years. Roman Rolf was here 9:30, but I'm hoping that the replay is going to be available so that you can also take benefit from that. Part of what I told them was the fact that I needed your cooperation. You see, we are supposed to be about 9 in this class, but as at the moment, I have just 4 of you. That is to tell you that even when people pay for classes, they won't show up. Or they will not show up. I don't understand why. I don't understand what benefits they are going to derive from not showing up for classes. I don't know. So I'm hoping that you're not going to be missing classes at Ikwoju. I hope you're not going to be missing classes, would you?
I won't, sir, inshallah.
Okay, that will make it easy. That will make it easy. So, and I'm saying that I wish that I want to be coming to class latest 10 minutes after, as in 9:40. 9:40 is the latest time. And if you don't come on time, I have the authority to kick you out of my class or deny you from joining. Do we agree? Hello, do you agree to that? If you agree, type I agree. Or type it. Drop it in the message. I agree. Drop it in the message if so that when you come behind 9:40, I just kick you out of the class. I won't hesitate to do that. Okay, Adipoju Khalilat agreed. Rahman Rauf agreed. Who else? So I want to also make sure that we are not going to be staying behind 10:30, inshallah. 1 hour maximum. 1 hour maximum. Inshallah. 1 hour maximum. And so today we have been able to deal with, there was a question came from Rahman Rauf concerning how to do the conceptual review. Conceptual review. And this is what we have been able to talk about. Okay, now there's a question. Let me answer this question before we call it a day tonight. When writing a conceptual review, when writing a conceptual review, are we to start other are we to state other people's view like Adequate 2001 and the likes? Yes, Maimuna, you have been with me, and but let me say it again. I told you right from the onset that the literature review allows other people's opinion to come to bear on your research. It allows other persons to contribute to your research. You yourself, you bring their statements, you bring their opinion to bear on your research, on your research, on your research. So that's it. And that's why I also mentioned the issue of citations. Citations, in-text citations. So when you mention the source of the review, it is actually giving credibility to your study. And now the issue of ethics, research ethics, have become more pronounced. In fact, in the developed countries of the world, it is a grievance offense that you take knowledge from someone and you do not acknowledge that person. It is a thief of intellect. A thief of intellect. So, Adequate 2001, yes, and it can be done this way, except that that Adequate will start with a capital letter, and you are going to leave a space between the first bracket and that U. Let me type it out how it should be. Adequate 2001. If that Adequate is beginning a sentence, this is how you write it out. Adequate 2001. But if it is ending, if it is going to end a sentence, this is how you write it. Adequate 2001. You close the bracket and you put a full stop. This one is going to be at the beginning. And this one is going to be at the end of the text. I hope you got that. Do you get this? Hello, are you there?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
we
Okay.
got it.
Although 2001 is too old to be cited now, 2001 is too old to be cited in 2022. Imagine 21 years. But that kind of citation is not encouraged. It is too old to be credible. Do you get that? Hello?
Sir, you got it.
Okay. So this is where we are going to draw the curtain tonight.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, how old should our citation be, sir?
Mhm. It should not be more than 10 years. It may vary. Some supervisors may say 5 years, but at least 10 years should be acceptable. So you can say like 2012 till date. Yes, it is acceptable. But anything below that, beyond that, is too old for a citation. Do you get it?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sir, may I come in here, please, before we draw the curtain
Okay,
over
go
the
ahead.
day? Like what said the other time about contracting the project out. Part of the flop I saw from the project, my wife's project that I told you was that I saw the some of the citation was 1992. Sincerely, 2021
1992 in 2022.
1990, yes, 1982, 1984. If it had been supervisor, I might throw the paper at you. Are you serious at all? At all? The maximum you can have with a supervisor is 8 years. My master's degree supervisor and the one is who is supervising my PhD currently now. The maximum you can have with
eight,
him is 8 years.
8 years, imagine that.
Yes, that is standard for him.
Okay. Thank you very much for that, for shedding that light. So, in case this class had impacted you, would you mind dropping your reviews in my DM? Please drop your review. As soon as I drop this call, drop your review so that that can be a means of communicating to the world that yes, this is where they should be. Rahman Rolf had done that. I'm also looking forward to. You see, don't praise me in that review. You don't need to praise me. Just talk about in specifics. What are the things that today's class have changed your understanding of literature review, for example? Please do not hesitate to do that immediately after this class. And I hope to see you again tomorrow by 9:30, inshallah. Inshallah. So thank you for coming, and I remain yours sincerely, Dr. Adeshola, the gifted researcher. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Good night.
So,
Nah,
thank you, sir.
you're welcome.
Thank you. Good night, sir. Jazakallah khair.